Hello again, I'm Henry T. and saying hi throughout the world. They're watching the Henry T. Show round the world. My buddy Scotty out there in Tuscany, Italy, growing all those grapes. Man, he's an artist, retired, doing quite well. Hello, thank you for your email. Amazing that we go all around the world on this little tiny computer here. Is that incredible? It's incredible the kind of show we're going to have for all of you around the world today as well. First of all, I want to get news for you. The Dallas Cowboys have lost their D. I watched them yesterday. They're giving points away. The Cowboys lost their D. Now, until they improve, we're going to call them the Alice Cowboys. No D, A-L-L-A-S, until they get their D back. Holly Holm, you were amazing on Saturday night. Best fight of your career, in my opinion. Man, from the start to the finish, blows here, blows there, everywhere a blow. Man, she was strong throughout the fight. Best pace ever, more punches ever, aggressive. Man, she wants to throw blows again. You're going to be in the UFC, you got to want to throw blows. Holly wants to throw blows. 35 years of age, ooh, she was smooth. Now, that little sports cash right there. By the way, I'm thinking about doing sports on here. A little sports here and there, an opinion. And Lobo is going to be back pretty soon. Oh, it's going to be a good life around here like normal. Cubit, please get out of here. We're tired of you. We respect you. We'll wear our masks. Henry T. has one right here. But I tell you what, we want you out of here so we can have normalcy back, okay? Man, we got stuff to do today. Today, we are going to be enlightened by two superstars. We got Carmella Garcia, top referee in the state of New Mexico. And I don't want to discredit when I say this. She's a woman. She can handle those mean coaches out there like few referees can. She runs the floor like a deer. She runs the floor as a referee like Henry T. used to run when Henry T. was a referee. Man, I was quick. That's not being egotistical. That's being factual. You've got to be quick to be a referee. You got to beat the play instead of blowing your whistle behind the play. Carmella Garcia will be here. She's already doing college basketball, and she's a very young referee doing all the high school big games in New Mexico, and she's got a schedule of college games already. She's next, but right now we have the winningest high school track and field coach in New Mexico history. And you know, that's amazing to say, because Hugh Hackett is in heaven now. You know how great he was. Here's a guy that I grew up watching as a Valley High Viking fan. I lived across Candelaria Road from Valley High School. There was an alfalfa field and then a ditch, always with water in it, that I had to leap to get to the Valley football field. And then I'd walk over to the basketball gymnasium, where I got to see an outstanding athlete. His name, Jim Ciccarello, point guard for the state champion Valley Viking basketball team, district champions, tough, great lineup. Oh, man. And Ciccarello brought the ball up the floor. But he was always a versatile athlete, track and field, and did everything. And he's with us today. But several years he's been the track and field coach at Manzano High School, La Cueva High School. He's got more state titles and individual titles for his athlete than anybody that's ever coached track and field. And you know, that says a lot because Hugh Hackett had his share. What a pleasure to bring this man on, longtime fan of his and longtime friend, a member of the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, and just a great guy, Jim Ciccarello. Chick, thanks for being on the show today. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me, Henry.
Man, it's a pleasure to see you here. I'm honored.
That was quite an introduction. I don't know if I can live up to that. I'm going to have to try a little harder.
Hey, was it accurate?
It was pretty close, but you have a way with words, Henry. People know. Keep it going.
Chick, congratulations on your career. Let me start there. So many accomplishments. Way to go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've got 52 years in APS.
Wow.
That's
and the
longevity.
days at Whittier, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I taught in the classroom, Whittier Elementary, for 42 years. And 5 more years at Bandelier Elementary School. So I was a phys ed teacher, educator, and I was very proud of that. That was my number one
Wow.
job.
When I first met you, I was a kid, and I loved going to watch you play the point guard at Valley High School with your lineup in that gymnasium, Warren Smart Gymnasium. What a place. And you were the leader of the basketball team. Wow, I remember like yesterday.
I played with some fantastic athletes at Valley, and I know you know some of them. Maybe some of the people in the audience may not have heard of
Thurl Pope.
Daryl Pope.
Okay.
What an athlete.
And Orrin Hall.
Orrin Hall, football, basketball, track and field.
Wow. Matt Wakando.
Native American point guard.
Not Thurl. Anyway.
Farrell
go ahead.
Howe. Farrell Howe.
Farrell Howe. He was another Native American.
Chester Olson.
Chester. Yeah.
Jim Johnson played for the Lobos.
Ooh.
Goes on and on. You know, Valley has a rich history of basketball.
Porfi
And
Maestas.
Porfi Maestas.
Am I close? Yeah. Julie Baca is in the house. You want to meet a famous lady before
Hi,
we
Julie.
start?
How are you?
Julie Baca, Jim Ciccarello, Carmella Garcia. She's woman referee in New Mexico. Man, we got all the stars here today. This is real TV. We have no order of which we go. When that lady comes in the house, we're going to stop everything. Okay?
I could tell. She's got some water in her hand already.
Oh, and you need to have some. Jim, you know, really, your career's been phenomenal. But when I first met you, to reiterate, the point guard at Valley High School was Jim Ciccarello. Do you remember those glorious days?
I remember those days like they were yesterday. You know, when you're an athlete, you never forget the excitement of being a high school athlete and being friends with people that had the same excitement that you have. And I still keep contact with some of those people today. You know, I do want to mention that a really good friend of mine, Cal Guyman, who I played basketball at Valley, died last week.
Wow.
And people out there in Albuquerque don't know who Cal Guyman is. He was on the Hall of Fame committee for the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, played basketball at Valley, and he was the brother of Jimmy Guyman, who we used to call Golden Arm Guyman, one of the best players that ever come out of Valley High School.
Yeah. God bless you, Cal. Man. And his brother Jimmy, who was also a star at Valley High. Man, what a history in that family.
That family was history, and Valley High School was history. Basketball is the name of the game. Valley Vikings, running Vikings.
I was a kid, and the Vikings were going to play Roswell at Johnson Gym. I took a bus from Candelaria to 4th Street and then over to Central and got a transfer. They let me off right in front of Johnson Gym, and I went up there to see the Vikings play. I'll never forget it. I had enough money Mom gave me for a Coca-Cola and bag of popcorn to watch Chick and the Vikings play. You had maroon uniforms with the long sleeves.
T-shirt, long sleeve.
T-shirts. What a
They
memory.
were different.
Do you
Maroon and
recall
gold.
that?
Yeah, I don't forget that.
What
You know
kind
what?
of catalyst was that for the rest of your career?
Well, I got introduced to athletics when I was young. I grew up in New Jersey originally before I came to Albuquerque. I came to Albuquerque in 1958
From New York.
from the New York, New Jersey area. And I used to run an indoor track meets as a little age group kid. And I played basketball back there. And to me, that was the excitement of having a good life, is being an athlete. And then when I came to Albuquerque, I met Cal Guyman, and next thing you know, I was hanging out with the Valley Vikings and playing basketball. And I always had a love for track and field, even though I played basketball mostly. I had a love for track and field that just wouldn't go away. And so after I graduated from UNM, after a little time in the Air Force, I decided I was going to go into teaching phys ed and coaching track and field. So I kind of coached stage group kids like I used to be when I was little. And then I went into high school after that.
Wow.
It was a long road. I took a lot of little turns along the way.
But what a start. That now when you were in New York,
Yeah.
were you a Yankee or a Met?
Oh, no, neither one. Forget about it. I was a Brooklyn Dodger.
Oh, you
Oh,
were
my
a
God.
Dodger.
Hey,
I forgot, man.
Sandy
hey,
Koufax.
Hey, I like the phrase.
Gil Hodges, Duke Snyder,
forgot
Carl
the phrase.
Furillo.
Forget
You
about
know.
it.
Forget about it. I never forget about those guys, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the lineup again.
Well, you got Roy Campanella, the catcher. You got Gil Hodges at first base. You got Pee Wee Reese at shortstop. You got in the outfield, you got Duke Snyder. How good was he?
Duke Snyder.
On the mound, you got Sandy Koufax. Johnny Padres,
Wow.
1955 World Series champion. Johnny Padres, pitcher. I mean, the Dodgers were loaded. Of course, the Yankees were loaded
Drysdale
too.
there?
No,
Not yet?
he's a Los Angeles guy. He was a Los Angeles Dodger.
Oh, okay.
But the Brooklyn Dodgers they had a fanatical fan base, kind of like the Chicago Cubs do. Everybody, if you were in New York and you were a Brooklyn fan, you were not a Yankee fan. Not. And you were not a Met fan. 3 great teams in the metro area. When you got a metro area of, 15 to 20 million
Evans
people.
Field?
Evans Field, no longer there. On Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn.
Bleachers or chairbacks?
I think they were bleachers.
Bleaches.
I remember getting on a bus in Jersey City from the YMCA with a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds and just going over to Evans Field. And we were sitting out there in the center field, and we were in the bleachers, and it was the most exciting thing that a little 10-year-old could have.
Wow.
Yeah, Brooklyn Dodgers.
How good was that for you?
Oh, that was great. That kind of got me excited about athletics, and it just carried on. And then I believe that you need to pass the love of athletics on to young people. Passing the love of athletics and the commitment and dedication to young people is what it's all about.
Was Johnny Roseborough there yet?
Yeah, he was a catcher.
Man. Who was the manager?
I went blank. The manager was Casey Stengels with the Yankees. The Dodger man wasn't Lucero. It was before him. It was. Can you remember Jimmy?
Man, we ain't trying to say nothing till we get a call from the audience. And they're going to type it
Yeah,
on
they
the
will.
screen.
Somebody will.
And they're going to make you feel bad.
Oh, it won't make me feel
'Cause
bad.
he was there for like 100 years.
Yeah, he was. Do you remember who it was? Yourself?
I'm not telling you right
Oh,
now.
okay. Somebody's going to call in.
He knows it, but we're going to get a smart caller. Remember the manager of the Dodgers back in the day with Duke Snyder and all of them? Type it in, put it on the screen, and we'll give you fame and fortune right here on the Henry T. Show.
All
Now
you
this-
baseball fans.
Oh,
Get with the
there are
program.
thousands. I love the Dodgers, man. But I love the Yankees, too. I never could get a hang of the Mets. Even the Mets of '69 with
Miracle.
Casey Stengels.
Miracle Man.
Miracle Mets. Man, what a huge community. New York.
Baseball was big back in the 50s and early 60s.
You still have your accent.
Yeah, I can't get rid of it. Where you grow up and develop as a young child, your accent and your attitude kind of get developed in your personality and stays with you all your life. I've been in New Mexico 62 years,
Wow.
and I still got that accent.
Incredible.
I feel like I'm a New Mexican, to be honest with you, Henry.
Well, we want to start here with the early start. I mean, the early
Sure.
beginnings of Jim Ciccarello, because, well, let's go right to the night, being inducted into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, and then we're going to go back to Whittier and build your way up to the high schools and all the track championships. But that night, you had the largest crowd in the history of that banquet, and still the largest that we can put together to this date, when they said, now our newest member of the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, Jim Ciccarello. The room roared. The building shook. All these people stood up and honored you. Largest crowd ever for any inductee. Congratulations.
Well, thank you after all these years. I could just
The
tell you
meaning, the significance.
it was
What did it
probably,
feel like to be inducted?
you know, you're talking about being inducted in the Hall of Fame where you got Adolph Plummer, you have Al Unser, you got Mel Daniels, and you're a coach and an educator. And I wasn't the guy that jumped 7 foot. I was the guy that taught a kid how to jump 7 foot. I wasn't somebody that set a national record in 100-meter hurdles, but I could teach a kid that could run 100-meter hurdles. So they were honoring an educator, which I take a lot of pride in, is they realized there was a lot of worth to people that help young people. And I'm proud to be a teacher and a coach, and I've continued on. And that night, most of my athletes, former assistant coaches, administrators, they were there. And we celebrated together. Even had a little party afterwards, a little Coca-Cola.
Wow. You know, Henry T., I don't just want to get the surface. I want to get the heartbeat, the actual feeling, the bloodstream, what your thoughts were, perspiration, the
Yes.
excitement in your heart when they said Jim Ciccarello, New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. The building stands up, and you got a human feeling in you. What was it?
Well, you know, when I was listening to the previous Hall of Fame inductees, you know, Rocky Long got inducted that night, and Curtis Williams got inducted that night, and I was thinking, wow, this is really special. And I'm going to get up here, and I'm going to talk to all these people. And what I wanted to do was make it a positive experience. And my heart rate, you know, was probably about 120, and I was sweating a little bit. I was a little bit nervous. But then once I saw in the audience, and the lights are shining on you, it's kind of hard to look into the audience, but you look past the lights into the audience, you see a lot of people that were there supporting you, and you thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try and maintain my composure. I'm going to get excited, but at the same time, I'm going to try and talk about the past and honor the people that came here to support me. And they were out there, and that's what my main goal was. But my heart rate was going crazy.
Isn't that exciting?
Sure.
That's where you can separate Henry T. from the other broadcasters. They'll give you the zone of the man-to-man. They give you a 2-1-2 zone. I want to find out what's going on in your heart, what you look like, what you felt like, the meaning, your parents, your children, whomever was there for you, your friends, because they roared for you. You know why?
Yeah. You know,
because they love Jim Ciccarello.
my mom and dad weren't alive at the time. They had already passed for different reasons. And I never did get married and have a family. So the New Mexican athletes were kind of my family.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of family members from New Mexico there, meaning athletes and assistant coaches, administrators. And so I felt like they were there. I have two brothers that were there, Frank Ciccarello and Richard Ciccarello. So my two brothers there, and they're still alive. We're all in our 70s.
How did
now.
they feel?
Oh, that was, my brother Frank was the loudest one in the audience. He was sitting next to you. I think that's why you hurt your hearing.
Were they
He was whistling like a fool.
were they touched?
Yeah, everybody was. You know, we basically, I come from humble beginnings back in Jersey City, New Jersey. I grew up in a low-income area, housing project, and so we weren't used to this kind of thing. And when we moved from New Jersey to New Mexico, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to our family. It gave me an opportunity to go to Valley High School and the UNM and to kind of progress forward and make something of myself. And so when I started teaching, the New Mexico kids became my family. And I wanted to take them as far as I can take them. And I have a great relationship with them to this day. And I'm still going. I'm on my 52nd year, and I'm going to do it again. I plan on coaching track and field this year.
You're so youthful. I go out there and watch you and your team work out. 1 minute you're this side of the track, the next minute you're with the high jumpers, then you're with the hurdlers, and then there's somebody that comes up wants to talk to you, maybe a press person or a parent or the principal of the school. You sprint here, sprint there. You're quick as an alley cat, chick.
Oh, I work with my assistant coaches too. Is that I've learned to multitask. I'll go over and talk to Ken Medley, my jump coach, or Raquel Williams, helps me with the sprints and hurdles. And we need to organize and get the kids moving, get the kids staying focused and on task. We don't have any downtime. So multitasking is the name of the game. Some people can do it, and other people, they just need to get better at it. But I've always taken to heart watching coaches that can do 10 things at the same time.
Wow. Developing a high school athlete, how do you do that? And I ask you that because that's a science. You have your way. I've read your book. You do it the Ciccarello way. What is that?
It's funny you brought up that book, Coach, Look at Me. And that title meant that kids want you to look at them. So when you talk about motivation, the best motivation you can get is self-motivation. And that comes from outside motivation of adults and coaches that look at the kids and let them know that they appreciate the work they've done. So one of my keys is as soon as I see a kid do something good in practice, I give them some positive input right away.
Wow.
And then they become more motivated.
And then they read your book or they listen to a lecture. You learn speed by listening to how to create the legs, how to get a firm stomach, how to build the strength in your legs, your ankles, your feet, your arms, everything, how to get that willpower with the right food, being nutritionally strong. Carmella Garcia, great referee, coming up next. She's fast.
She looks pretty fit to me.
But she wants to be faster. She wants to be fit.
Okay.
She's an extension of the athleticism on the floor. How do you teach Carmella to be?
If I was coaching Carmella,
yeah,
I would say, number one, Carmella, you need to do repeats, and you need to do them fast. When you run up and down the court, run them faster. You got to get your body in such good shape that it's used to moving at a fast speed. You don't practice at a slow speed. And you got to get a lot of rest, because if you're going to run hard, you're going to get tired, and your body's got to build back up. So you got to have a good diet like you talked about. We talk about protein and vegetables, and we talk about getting good sleep and staying hydrated with good water, like Kagan water. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Water, diet, exercise, repeats. I remember people telling me, Coach, you can't make people faster. They're either born fast or they're not born fast. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Not true. If you move something fast, like your arm or your leg fast, and then you repeat it and move it fast again, it starts getting faster. Now, I'm not saying you go out there and beat Usain Bolt, but I'm saying you as an individual can get faster by doing fast repeats as fast as you can do them.
See, Carmella might be the quickest of all referees. Now she's going to be quicker than she used to be, because you know what? You're giving us that Ciccarello Bible.
I'd love to coach her. I could tell right now I'd make her a sprinter, maybe a long jumper, triple jumper.
That's how she's going to make the big time. She'll be D1 thanks to your coaching today in a very short period of time.
Very
She's
short.
got the attitude. Is that part of the plan?
Attitude is part of the plan. Being a good listener, attitude, commitment, dedication, and repeats. Never forget. People always ask me, what's the number one ingredient to be an outstanding athlete? And I say it's repeats. If you want to be good, you got to do it over and over. Some people do it one time, take a break, go home, watch TV, whatever. No. If you're going to be a baseball player, what do you have to take?
Repetition.
Cuts, one after another. They call them cuts. And people that take cuts all of a sudden make little adjustments in their brain and in the muscles so that they can hit that ball a little bit better. So you got to have repeat cuts. In track and field, it's simple. High knees, speed, hit the ground, push on the ground, move forward. Do it again.
You've got hundreds of individual champions, all the different events, state champions galore and everything. But yet you make it at La Cueva not an individual thing. You make it a team thing. All these La Cueva Cougars,
Bears.
the Bears, I can't believe I said Cougars.
That's Cibola.
Yeah, man, that's like
We're going to run against
words.
those Cougars.
And the kids at Siebel are mad at me, and so anyway, the thing about you is the inspiration you put in each one of these athletes at practice, at the meet. The parents are excited. It's like this, wow, where are we at? We're at a La Cueva track meet. That's where we're at. And it's team orientation.
Yeah, you talk about the team is that, at La Cueva, we've always stressed the team. I think that the individuals, if they work hard, they come to the top, but then they bring the athletes with them. What's that quote about when the tide rises, everybody, all boats come to the top? There's a quote of some kind. And so if you can get the individuals to rise, then the whole team rises. And then you have something special in any sport, any athletic event. So, yeah, we stress team, and we do that by having individuals become the best they can at their individual event.
Yeah. Now, let's...
Rising tide raises all boats.
Give me an example. You don't have to give us the name unless you truly want to, but it's great recognition for that athlete. Give me a name that you brought up from scratch, from the days of, God, you're not too good, you're thinking, but I'm going to make you a state champion. What was the method? What was the ingredient that you put him to begin to want to be great, and then the process starts? You can see the development. Give us an individual. Paint the picture of a champion.
Well, Henry, that's an easy question for me. Is that back in 1969, I met a little girl. She was like a 9-year-old. Her name was Val Boyer.
Yeah.
And I met her at Lowell Elementary School. And she was just a regular kid out on the playground. I was a young PE teacher. And I was walking around, and I was asking kids if they like to have races, because I was a young whippersnapper PE guy trying to figure out how to motivate kids. And I realized right away that these kids like to have races. And so I had them running to the tetherball, to the backstop, to the building and back, and Val Boy was one of them. And she was beating the boys and most of the girls, all of the girls, most of the boys. And I knew right away that I had something special here. And I worked with John Holland and Tony Sandoval and John Baker, Richard Herrera, Pat Cox, and we had the Duke City Dashes, and I got Val Boyer involved in the Duke City Dashes. And the next thing you know, we're traveling all over the country. And she's 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and she comes up to me one day and she says, Coach, you think there's a chance that I could compete in high school and college? I said, not only can you compete, but Val, if you run real good, they're going to pay for your college. And her eyes got real big. And from that day on, I've never seen anybody work as hard as Val Boyer, because she won a college scholarship. And lo and behold, she turned out to be the #1 sprinter New Mexico's ever had.
Gee.
All-American.
And tell us about her great life today.
Well, she's accomplished a lot in her life. She used track as a vehicle to move forward in life. She wound up going to law school at the Arizona State University, graduated from Arizona State, became a lawyer in Arizona, and today she's a judge in Glendale, Arizona. She sits on the bench. And when I went to visit her, She gave me a black robe, put it on me, and we both sat on the bench. So I was a judge for about 2 minutes in my life.
Wow.
Made some important decisions.
She's fabulous. You know, when I see her, I say, Your Honor.
Nobody ever ran like her. She would fall on the ground in cramps. Her legs would be cramping. You know, when you run a lot, repeats, your legs are they're gonna balk a little bit, and they start cramping. And she would get down on the ground, cramp, and I say, Val, you got about a minute or two. You got to get up and do it again. She say, okay, coach, give me another minute, and then she'd do it. And that's how she got faster, by doing those fast repeats.
Yeah,
I've never had one like that.
She's an incredible story.
Yeah, and she's in the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame too. You remember that?
Wow, that was a special night.
That was a special night for her and her family. She's also in the Arizona State Hall of Fame.
And we call her Your Honor.
And I'm very respectful of her, and she is to me.
That's
It's
a great
an honor
story.
to know her. Yes, and she come out of humble beginnings on the south side of town in Albuquerque at the Kirkland Edition of Gibson and University. And mom was a single mom and was raising like 6 or 7 kids. She was a nurse, and they didn't have a lot of money, and they didn't have a lot of things that other kids have. Like some of the kids I coach today, they do pretty good, but not Val. Val's mom struggled. She decided she was going to make something out of herself, and she used track and field as a vehicle to get where she is today.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have video of you coaching or whatever you have. Jimmy's got something he's going to put on the screen. But the highlight, that's an unfair question for you because you've got 5 million highlights. Can you paint the picture of a highlight that we can graphically see by your eloquent description?
You know, I have so many. You know, I know we're running out of time. If I tell you, I'm going to tell you two highlights. Okay, I could tell you many, many more. As most coaches that have been around a while, there are a lot of exciting things that happen. Number one, the first time that Val made a USA team, we were at UCLA Drake Stadium. She was running against Evelyn Ashford, Shonda Cheeseborough, Brenda Moorhead, the best sprinters in the U.S. at the time.
Wow.
1977. And all she had to do was finish in the top 4 to make a USA team. She was 17 years old. The gun goes off, and Val is running side by side with him, finishes second, makes the team. She goes to the USSR USA track meet,
Wow.
and she's voted the most valuable athlete for the USA. And that, to me, was like big time. It was on TV. It was broadcast on ABC. She was a 17-year-old from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow.
There she was, beating the Russians. And the Russians were good. So, you know, she's been to a couple Olympic trials. But that was like a really exciting moment for me. I was all over the TV in the living room. And then more recent, a couple of years ago at La Cueva High School, I had a 4x1 relay that was ranked 5th in the state. And the best teams in the state at that time were Sandia High School and Cleveland High School. And they were undefeated going to the state meet, 4x1 relay.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, how in the heck are we going to run with those guys? We had 4 really nice kids at La Cueva. And I thought, well, if we can make our handoffs perfect, and we can move kids around and get some kid to run a little longer, another kid to run a little shorter, and get perfect handoffs, you know, maybe we'll be on the podium and get in the top 3. We're out there in lane 8. We were ranked 5th or 6th at the time. Gun goes off, and I watch the handoffs. And the most perfect handoffs ever in the history of track and field were made that day. And lo and behold, those La Cueva girls, it was like Sarah Mann, Lexi Keller, Crosby Grigsby, and Izzy Swanson. And they had the most perfect handoffs you can imagine. And they upset those other teams, including your alma mater, Sandia, who was a very good team. And then we won by about 4 yards, broke our own school record, and was just a little bit off the state record at the time. That was an exciting time. That was the thing that started us that day to win the state championship as a team.
See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear all that? And it came out of the heart. And he still remembers every detail
Every detail.
of that day. That's what makes Jim Ciccarello very, very special. You can't say the big R word to Chick. He doesn't know how to spell retirement. He doesn't hear the word retirement. He refuses to acknowledge the word in any way, shape, or form. You're here forever.
Well, I always say that people ask me, who's your best athlete? And I always say, oh, it's that one that I'm going to meet next week for the first time. The future is now. How's that one?
I'm going to give you the challenge of all time since you said that.
Uh-oh.
Can you build any speed in Henry T?
Sure, if he's willing to do repeats.
You can really build speed? You remember Abe Lincoln?
I went to school with him.
I broadcast his game.
How about George Washington, Henry?
He was a little before me.
You want to run on a 4x1 relay with Abe Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Henry DeFoyer. Oh, my God, what a relay.
Could I be the anchor?
You got to do some sprints, though. You got to do some repeats to where you get to where
Abe was pretty slick.
Yeah, well, Henry's a good talker, so that's going to help him run faster, too.
Chick, give us a couple of highlights before we meet Carmella Garcia. I know the audience is anxious to have Carmella on the show, too. We're almost done with Chick, but you're so interesting. You talk from the heart. God bless you for all you've done.
Well, thank you for asking me, and I've got so many memories. I don't even need to have a clipboard, and I could just speak to the things that I've lived over the last 50 years in track and field.
I wanted to hear the ingredient of jump rope.
Oh, we
and
didn't
how
talk
that
about
helps
jump
us as athletes. Because you're the all-time jump rope coach in New Mexico's history. You brought jump rope to training. Before you leave, share with us what it does for us.
Well, we're talking about the speed factor.
Whatever it does.
Carmen, you got to do jump rope. Trust me. The faster you move the rope, the faster the muscles twitch, the faster your brain synapses go, and your body gets used to going fast. And when I teach jump rope, I don't teach like the old days, Cinderella, dressed in yellow, went upstairs, the chants. No, we don't teach that. We teach athletic, as fast as you can, move the rope with no mistakes. Get your heart rate up and move that rope quick. I used to do that with Daniel Gorse and Curtis Beach, with boys and Warwick Campbell. Oh, it's amazing to watch them move a rope. You could hear the rope moving, but you can't see it. And that's the speed factor. And to this very day, all my kids at LaQuave are going to jump rope. I believe in speed.
So you're going to recommend Carmella jump rope
Absolutely. If
to
she
get to her goal.
Yeah. The thing about jump rope, Carm, is that when you first start, you kind of make mistakes. It hits your feet and your ankles, and you go, oh, I feel clumsy. I don't know if I can do this. Well, you got to get past the clumsy stage. You have got to keep doing it and don't give in. And make it move fast. Make that rope move so fast, all you do is hear it. And then your muscles in your arms and legs and everywhere else is going to react to that. It's going to make you faster and more fit.
All right, before we go further, and before Carmella comes out, look at the people calling in for you right now. You see the screen?
Okay.
Come over here a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Read some of those lines.
Oh, yeah, that's Michael Scarlett.
Who's the first name?
He wanted to know if I was involved with Jump Rope for Heart.
Justin Fitzgerald.
Oh. Oh, yeah, he was one of my former students.
Uh-oh.
You know, a lot of people are former students. I've had 65,000 students.
Trish Anderson.
Trish Anderson used to go to Sandia High School.
She walked 3 miles
Yeah, I coached at Sandia High School for 6 years, too.
to school, 6 miles, 5 days a week. Have a great day, Henry and Coach Ciccarello. Thanks for the memories. Very interesting show today, having Coach Ciccarello on your podcast. George Archuleta, Kenny Henry. Coach Kenny, wow.
Coach Kenny Henry. I know that.
Is that beautiful?
Henry's
has a
good
lot of
people.
state championships too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chester was a
he's-
Whittier guy that jumped rope. Yeah, he was. I had boys and girls that jump rope, and I
Michael
encourage all of them.
Scarlett.
Hey, that's Bob Martin. You know Bob Martin?
Yeah.
Oh, Bob Martin. What a coach he was. Doc Martin. He's got a PhD. He's in Southern Cal, and he's watching us. And I saw him jump over a guy's head one time.
How about that for an honor?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Some of your greats writing in. Just say hi to you.
Yeah. Michael
that
Scarlett,
nice?
tell your dad I said hi. Your dad was a fantastic supporter of you. I'll always remember that.
Yeah. Military man.
Yeah. Sharp guy. Family.
Oh.
Loved his family.
That's a good deal. Hey, Chick, we can do hours together.
I guess so.
Our time has come to an end, but what a pleasure it's for me, ladies and gentlemen, to say one of my friends in life is Jim Ciccarello. Wow, that feels good to say, Chick.
Well, thank you for having me, honey. I'm hoping I'm still around 20 years from now. You and I?
Really,
And we'll still do it?
I'm honored that you're my buddy.
Jimmy Tran, we're
Thank
going to do it
you.
again? What do you think?
Coach, hear me.
You got a good staff here.
Oh, the best. He's dedicated to doing this job so we can do things for you and Carmella and all the rest of the people who have been on the show and that are coming on the show. Coach, you've helped the popularity of this show. It's moving up every day. I'm on the bench for 10 years. No TV, nothing. And I come back, Jim Baca says, Henry, I got a studio. Let's try something. Hits a button, you're on the air. Now do something. And all of a sudden, a few months later, we're rising up as a very popular show, beating the radio station sports shows in just a few days because we have people like you to talk to.
Well, you know, you invited me on. We got to talk about athletes. You know, last week I saw you on with Ben Lucero, the high jumper from Mayfield, 7'5", Olympic trials.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm going to let the audience know. His daughter is running
Use
for
the
me.
mic.
His daughter is running for me at La Cueva High School. Uh-oh. Ben Lucero's got a daughter at La Cueva? Secret weapon.
How good are they? How good is that family?
Family is fantastic. Ben Lucero and his wife and his two daughters, they're just good people.
Was
I can't
Ben
wait to work
good?
with him.
Was Ben a great athlete?
Ben was a high school, college, Olympic trials athlete, 7'5". What do you think? 7'5"?
Can you imagine?
And he was straddling 7'5". He wasn't going over backwards.
It wasn't the
going over backwards.
Fosbury flop?
Wasn't the Fosbury flop. He could probably do 7'8", flopping.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was
See,
quite a
Chick,
jumper.
you're full of stories.
It
That's
goes
what
on
we
there.
got to do another hour in the near future again.
I'm always willing to work with Henry for you because you're so good for our community.
Thank you.
New Mexico. You're the real deal. Anytime you want me to come, I'll come and I'll tell some stories. I'll just talk from the heart.
Wow. What an honor for you to give me a compliment. Thank you, Lord in heaven, because you're the man.
I'm proud to be a New Mexican, Henry.
Amen. How many more years, Coach? Seriously, I don't want to talk the R word.
You know, I'm 78 years old. And I'm coming back this year. And I'm hoping that I can keep going. I go 1 year at a time. And people always ask me, when you getting out? I don't know. My next best athlete is the next one I'm going to meet.
Wow. You take care, and
Okay,
the
Henry.
very best to you. And the COVID's going to disappear, I hope, soon. Then you'll be back to building those athletes. Wear
I
your
got my
mask.
mask.
There it goes again.
We're social distance right now.
Give,
When I'm
before
around
you
kids,
go-
I wear this mask.
Amen. Before you go, let the public know the inspiration you're going to give Carmella and one closing word of encouragement for her to get her goals before you leave here.
You know, I look at Carmella and I see somebody that's in pretty good shape. You know, she looks like an athlete. And she's young. And I saw her smile and talk to me for a little bit. She looks like she's very motivated, has a great personality. And she's been here listening to everything. And I think that her future looks pretty bright. And if she will just make sure that she stays fit and does repeat speed, she's going to turn out to be one of New Mexico's finest. I
No
can
doubt.
see it.
Hey, and if she's in a game, working a game, and you're the coach, and you think you're going to give Carmella grief because she's got stripes on and wearing a whistle?
No.
Next move you make, you're going to be coaching the game from the parking lot.
She's pretty tough, I guess, too.
Yeah.
She doesn't look, she smiles at you like she's very,
Hey,
nice and
the
tender.
mechanics, she's got the straightest tee I've ever seen with that firm look behind it in a game. Oh, man.
Well, there's no gray area. You either got it or you ain't got it. And when she gives you that tea, she's got it and you got the message.
And you know what? You've got it. God bless you.
All right, Henry. Thank you.
See you soon.
See you again.
Wow, Jim Ciccarello, New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to let Jim sneak out, and we're going to let Carmella sneak in. But how about that for inspiration, motivation? And I know Coach Ron Maestas out there in Las Vegas, New Mexico, all-American coach, several national championships at Highlands University. He's watching, and he's inspired because he's been in the fire that Jim Ciccarello has been in. Oh, my goodness gracious. So we're going to move Carlin back against the wall, and we're going to get her back behind the microphone, and we're going to be great. Our sponsors, Amistoy Drywall. Wow. Pierre Amistoy, you're a hero to a lot of people who mention your name to me every day and saying thank you for being behind Henry T in this venture of TV to make a comeback. Pierre Amistoy, businessmen, they'll rebuild a home for you. They'll make it from scratch, the drywall. I mean, really, they're the champions of drywall. They build homes, they recreate, they modernize, they just do many things. They're great. They've supported me all my broadcasting career. Thank you to the Amistoy family. And you be loyal to them because they're going to help you someday. Build your home, make an addition to your home, whatever it is, you'll remember the name Amistoy. Pierre Amistoy. We talked about Valley High School. He's one of the great baseball stars ever in the history of that school. And his son's Pierre Jr., soccer player. Adam, baseball player. Wow, what a family. And mom's the best athlete in the whole home. And they're in the horse business. They're champions of life. Two kinds of people in this world, givers and takers. They're great big givers. Hydro Bar, right here. Julie Bach is supposed to step in a second. Tim Baca, you've met him. Delicious water. I don't know if Carmella had a chance to taste it yet, but man, before she gets out of here, she's going to experience it. We have Indigo Mortgage. Man, Ben Lucero, the track star we just talked about, from Mayfield High School, off to the University of Missouri he went, and just missed the time or the Olympic trials by a half inch, or he would have gone to the Olympic Games. Great man. And, of course, we got the canteen serving all those students at all those high schools, and Kevin behind the scenes directing the traffic. Thank you, canteen. Thank you, Kevin. Everguard Roofing. Man, there's no hesitation. They are going to put a roof on your home that's going to be second to none. These are people that care. again. I'm Henry T. and saying hi throughout the world. They're watching the Henry T. Show round the world. My buddy Scotty out there in Tuscany, Italy, growing all those grapes. Man, he's an artist, retired, doing quite well. Hello, thank you for your email. Amazing that we go all around the world on this little tiny computer here. Is that incredible? It's incredible the kind of show we're going to have for all of you around the world today as well. First of all, I got news for you. The Dallas Cowboys have lost their D. I watched them yesterday. They're giving points away. The Cowboys lost their D. Now, until they improve, we're going to call them the Alice Cowboys. No D, A-L-L-A-S, until they get their D back. Holly Holm, you were amazing on Saturday night. Best fight of your career, in my opinion. Man, from the start to the finish, blows here, blows there, everywhere a blow. Man, she was strong throughout the fight. Best pace ever, more punches ever, aggressive. Man, she wants to throw blows again. You're going to be in the UFC, you got to want to throw blows. Holly wants to throw blows. 35 years of age, ooh, she was smooth. Now, that little sports cash right there. By the way, I'm thinking about doing sports on here. A little sports here and there, an opinion. And Lobo is going to be back pretty soon. Oh, it's going to be a good life around here like normal. Covet, please get out of here. We're tired of you. We respect you. We'll wear our masks. Henry T. has one right here. But I tell you what, we want you out of here so we can have normalcy back, okay? Man, we got stuff to do today. Today, we are going to be enlightened by two superstars. We got Carmella Garcia, top referee in the state of New Mexico. And I don't want to discredit when I say this. She's a woman. She can handle those mean coaches out there like few referees can. She runs the floor like a deer. She runs the floor as a referee like Henry T. used to run when Henry T. was a referee. Man, I was quick. That's not being egotistical. That's being factual. You've got to be quick to be a referee. You got to beat the play instead of blowing your whistle behind the play. Carmella Garcia will be here. She's already doing college basketball, and she's a very young referee doing all the high school big games in New Mexico, and she's got a schedule of college games already. She's next. But right now, we have the winningest high school track and field coach in New Mexico history. And you know, that's amazing to say, because Hugh Hackett is in heaven now. You know how great he was. Here's a guy that I grew up watching as a Valley High Viking fan. I lived across Candelaria Road from Valley High School. There was an alfalfa field and then a ditch, always with water in it, that I had to leap to get to the Valley football field. And then I'd walk over to the basketball gymnasium, where I got to see an outstanding athlete. His name, Jim Ciccarello, point guard for the state champion Valley Viking basketball team, district champions, tough, great lineup. Oh, man. And Ciccarello brought the ball up the floor. But he was always a versatile athlete, track and field, and did everything. And he's with us today. But several years he's been the track and field coach at Manzano High School, La Cueva High School. He's got more state titles and individual titles for his athlete than anybody that's ever coached track and field. And you know, that says a lot because Hugh Hackett had his share. What a pleasure to bring this man on. Longtime fan of his and longtime friend. A member of the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. And just a great guy, Jim Ciccarello. Chick, thanks for being on the show today. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me, Henry.
Man, it's a pleasure to see you here. I'm honored.
That was quite an introduction. I don't know if I can live up to that. I'm going to have to try a little harder.
Hey, was it accurate?
I was pretty close, but you have a way with words, Henry. People know. Keep it going.
Chick, congratulations on your career. Let me start there. So many accomplishments. Way to go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've got 52 years in APS.
Wow.
That's
and the
longevity.
days at Whittier, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I taught in the classroom, Whittier Elementary, for 42 years. And 5 more years at Bandelier Elementary School. So I was a phys ed teacher, educator, and I'm very proud of that. That was my number one
Wow.
job.
When I first met you, I was a kid, and I loved going to watch you play the point guard at Valley High School with your lineup in that gymnasium, Warren Smart Gymnasium. What a place. And you were the leader of the basketball team. Wow, I remember like yesterday.
I played with some fantastic athletes at Valley, and I know you know some of them. Maybe some of the people in the audience may not have heard of
Thurl Pope.
Daryl Pope.
Okay.
What an athlete.
And Orrin Hall.
Orrin Hall, football, basketball, track and field.
Wow. Matt Watkando.
Native American point guard.
Not Thurl. Anyway,
Farrell
go ahead.
Howell. Farrell Howell.
Farrell Howell. He was another Native American.
Chester Olson.
Chester. Yeah.
Jim Johnson played for the Lobos.
Woo!
Goes on and on. You know, Valley has a rich history of basketball.
Porfi
And-
Maestas.
Porfi Maestas.
Am I
Joe Lampton.
close? Yeah. Julie Baca is in the house. You want to meet a famous lady before
Hi,
we
Julie.
start?
How are you?
Julie Baca, Jim Ciccarello, Carmella Garcia. Best, she's woman referee in New Mexico. Man, we got all the stars here today. This is real TV. We have no order of which we go. When that lady comes in the house, we're going to stop everything. Okay?
I could tell. She's got some water in her hand already.
Oh, and you need to have some. Jim, you know, really, your career's been phenomenal. But when I first met you, to reiterate, the point guard at Valley High School was Jim Ciccarello. Do you remember those glorious days?
I remember those days like they were yesterday. You know, when you're an athlete, you never forget the excitement of being a high school athlete and being friends with people that had the same excitement that you have. And I still keep contact with some of those people today. You know, I do want to mention that a really good friend of mine